the smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithy.
Hi, this is Cole Smithy with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. It took 3 directors to make the 3rd installment in the Madagascar franchise, yet the compound collaboration has resulted in an impressive animated comedy.
Oh, you killer fight like a bunch of little girls!
Audience chuckles and belly laughs come at regular intervals. The level of visual and narrative sophistication on display is astonishing. There are no fart jokes to distract from the fun-loving animal characters that have become like family members to a generation of young moviegoers. The filmmakers pull off a neat trick by continuously raising the stakes for audience expectations before paying off on gently implied promises with breathtaking virtuosic sequences. An eye-popping chase scene across the rooftops of Monte Carlo's skyline hits the mark. In addition, the film's explosion of color during a circus-themed 3rd act climax is an over-the-top expression of dynamic animation at its finest. The filmmaker's obvious Cirque du Soleil inspiration for the denouement takes delightful 3-dimensional flight at just the right moment. A surrealistic black-and-white dream sequence opens the movie as a tip-off to adult spectators that the movie will also address their intellects. Returning voice actors Ben Stiller as Alex the Lion, Chris Rock as Marty the Zebra, Jada Pinkett Smith as Gloria the Hippo, and David Schwimmer as Melman the Giraffe all deliver knockout performances.
How do we move through Europe without attracting attention?
Wait! The circus! This train is for circus animals only.
A clever editorial choice to give a circus bear named Sonia the mute trait of an actual bear brings the animated animal world one step closer to reality. Sonia's inability to talk hardly stops Cedric the Entertainer's eye creature Maurice from falling for her hairy charms. Maurice has a fetish he's none too embarrassed about expressing when opportunity presents itself. The plot couldn't be simpler. Our familiar animal buddies are trying to leave Madagascar and return to their previous home, the New York City Zoo. A brief layover in Monte Carlo brings them to the attention of Capitaine Chantal Dubois, amazingly voiced in a biting French accent by Frances McDormand. Dubois is part bloodhound and part Cruella de Vil, with a little Edith Piaf thrown in for good measure. There's no telling if McDormand herself performed the French song Dubois belts out in a surprising bit of Chanteuse inspiration, but the musical diversion arrives with an ear-pleasingly authentic Gaelic slap and tickle. Dubois wants the severed heads of Alex, Marty, Gloria, and Melman hanging on her trophy wall. Our motley crew finds refuge in the company of a train-traveling circus with its own host of kooky animal personalities. Jessica Chastain's slinky jaguar Gia holds romantic promise for Alex if he can just figure out how to come up with a circus act impressive enough to gain the sponsorship of a London promoter.
Circus, Afro, circus, Afro, circus, Afro, polka dot, polka dot, polka dot.
For once, even the 3D aspects of an animated movie are calculated to make the audience jump in their seats a few times as objects seem to fly from the screen. Any way you slice it, Madagascar 3 is a winner. I give this outstanding animated children's movie an A.
You look incredible.
Are you trying to take maid of honor from me?
I feel like Rupert Everett.
Don't we all?
Greta Gerwig continues her one-woman crusade to make slutty girls respectable.
I feel like everyone saw it coming but me.
Nobody saw it. It was like lightning.
My world is
Sadly, Lola Versus is an ill-conceived romantic comedy that flirts too closely with the widely reviled and obsolete mumblecore genre. Director co-writer Daryl Ween oversees the fallout from Greta Gerwig's 29-year-old Lola's failed attempt to get married. Her wishy-washy betrothed, Luke, played by Joel Kinnaman, cuts bait and runs just before the big day arrives. New York habitué Lola stays busy working on her PhD dissertation when she isn't hanging out with her metrosexual of questionable intent best friend Henry, played by Hamish Linklater.
You need to be on your own again. Dating other people, letting them ride your pony, knowing what that feels like.
A not-so-cute meet at a bakery throws Lola in bed with a cringe-inducing prison architect whose large endowment below the waist belies his icky girly qualities. His time spent as an incubator baby had dynamic results for his member, if not his personality or looks. Stuck Lola can't resist going back for some make-up sex with Luke. If these kinds of plot details sound like cartoonish incidentals, that's certainly how they come across in the movie.
We all get obsessed with shoes.
Ease your emotion. Relax.
Lola Versus feels more like a crummy TV sitcom pilot than an actual feature film. I give this disappointing romantic comedy a C-.
I want to find this guy. See if maybe he believes in this stuff. I don't know. I think it could be funny.
You want to do it?
Can I get a couple of interns?
Magic realism takes hold in newbie director Colin Trevorrow's confident romantic comedy.
Help me with
I'll
the
do it.
research.
Me, too, please. Me.
All right, give me the lesbian and the Indian, and I got a story.
It doesn't hurt that Aubrey Plaza of television's Parks and Recreation and Mark Duplass share some cool chemistry. Darius Britt, played by Plaza, is a disaffected Generation Z chick who stumbles into a job as an intern for a magazine. A story idea based on a newspaper ad entitled Safety Not Guaranteed inspires Darius to team up with sex-obsessed staff writer Jeff, played by Jake Johnson, and fellow intern Arno, played by Karan Soni, a needy virgin without much common sense.
Basic training.
I think I'm getting better than you.
Let's not get ahead of yourself here, okay?
The promising ad boldly states, "Wanted, someone to go back in time with me. This is not a joke. You'll get paid when we get back. Must bring your own weapons. Safety not guaranteed. I have only done this once before." For narcissistic Jeff, the story means a trip to Ocean View, Washington, where he had a memorable sexual experience with a girl he wants to look up for a rematch. Darius's motivations are more genuinely based in curiosity. Upon meeting Matthew, played by Duplass, the ad's grocery clerk author, Darius senses a kinship with her subject. Like Darius, Matthew is an antisocial misfit who has spent a lot of time mulling over what makes the world tick. Duplass's doughy charm is a natural foil for the bespectacled Darius, who shares his serious-minded sense of adventure. Scenes of the pair engaging in martial arts-style training practices arrive with warm-hearted humor.
I don't know anymore, actually.
It's my hope that if you're watching this video, something incredible has happened.
Written by newcomer Derek Connolly, Safety Not Guaranteed makes good on its dubiously proposed fantasy elements while embracing the needs of its emotionally crippled characters. Here's a small movie with big dreams and a lot of heart. I give this good romantic comedy a B. My sleeper pick is Paul Williams' Still Alive, and my guilty pleasure pick is High School. My must-have DVDs are The Sting from Universal, Tomboy from Wolf Video, and Bloodwork from Warner Home Video. Aesthetic, austere, and challenging are typical adjectives that critics reach for when describing Portuguese auteur Pedro Costa's enigmatic films. Costa's theatrically bound approach to narrative structure is so stripped down and existential in its nature that his audience is left to sink or swim on the still breezes of stark cinematic poetry the filmmaker provides. Working in a purely proletarian manner with a skeleton crew of 3 or 4 friends enables the director to obtain a delicacy of substance and bare dramatic inflection unavailable to most filmmakers. Windows are an essential image system Costa uses to artificially light scenes with a clinical shade of white that sears the drama into the viewer's mind. Colossal Youth, or Forward Youth as its French title En Avant Jeunesse translates, completes a trilogy of films placed in the since-demolished Fontenoche district of Lisbon, where a shantytown ghetto inhabited by a community of Creole-speaking Cape Verdean refugees struggle for daily survival. Heroin and methadone addiction exacerbates the hardships suffered in this dark place. Vanda, a returning character from In Vanda's Room, the second film in Costa's trilogy, is a key character here in The Houses of the Dead. A tall, thin black man called Ventura navigates between the ghetto and glaringly white project housing units built to shelter him and his destitute neighbors. Ventura is the actual man who serves as Pedro Costa's muse for the melancholy existence that unfolds on the screen. Dressed in a black suit and dirty white dress shirt, Ventura represents a patriarchal phantom or even prophet visiting with friends and family members who refer to him as Papa. They too represent ghosts of generations of oppressed and impoverished peoples. Ventura's wife, Clotilde, inexplicably abandons him after throwing their worldly possessions out their window and stabbing him in the hand with a knife. The film opens with her giving a monologue through a darkened window while holding the small blade. She condemns everyone. Still, Ventura remains preoccupied with the idea of reuniting with Clotilde. The prematurely old-seeming Ventura frequently recites a love letter he teaches to his adult son so that his descendant might tell it to Clotilde should she ever return. Memories and traditions are being wiped out only to be replaced with prefab architecture and the economic constraints that go along with economically imposed slavery. Marcel Proust and James Joyce are literary relations to Pedro Costa's cinema of timeless recognition. How human beings learn from history in the face of unending injustice or retain their dignity when everything is taken from them are just a couple of the titanic issues Pedro Costa grapples with. It wouldn't be reasonable if Colossal Youth weren't a challenging film. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.